Hello, everyone. Welcome back to AP Calculus with Dr. Zach. Today, we are preparing for your Unit 1 test on limits. It is time to show off your skills. So today's lesson preview probably took a little bit of work, so I do want to go over it with you. Notice that you are going to substitute your x plus delta x into function f of x. After that, there's a lot of simplifying that goes on. Keep your limit notation. So we have the limit as delta x goes to 0. Substitute x plus delta x into function f. That gives us 2 times the quantity x plus delta x and a squared minus 3. Minus our function f of x, but f of x is good old 2x to the third minus 3. And all of this is divided by delta x. Now, I have a choice. I could put x equals 2 into our problem. However, I think what I would prefer to do is work through the algebra. So I have the limit as delta x goes to 0. Once again, keeping my notation. Multiply through. This gives me 2 times x squared plus 2x delta x plus your delta x squared minus 3 minus the quantity. 2x cubed minus 3 again. And all of this is divided by delta x. Now, when you multiply through by the 2, you'll see lovely patterns that occur. First of all, your 2x cubed will, that should be squared, my fault. Your 2x squareds will cancel out. And your 3's will cancel out. All right, so what we're going to be left with, and once again, keep that limit as delta x goes to 0. There we go. And we have a 4x delta x plus 2 delta x squared, and everything else is gone. Lovely. All right, all over delta x. But then notice what happens. Your delta x's cancel out. And you're left with the limit as delta x goes to 0. 4x plus 2 delta x. And now as delta x goes to 0, you're left with 4x. There we go. All right, now for question B, you were asked to, whoops, I didn't finish, did I? And I want to know this answer at x equals 2. So at x equals 2, my answer is 8. All right, now for question B, you were to write the equation of a tangent line at x equals 2 if we knew that the slope of the tangent line, wait, at x equals 2, the slope of the tangent line was 8. That's what you found in part A. So using your point slope equation, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, we know that y plus 1 equals your slope, which is going to be 8 times x minus 2. And you can simplify if you would like. Y equals 8x minus 17. Now, where did the plus 1 come from, you might be asking? When you look at your point, it is the point 2, negative 1. So as I make a test for you, I try to give you a good balance of all the different skills we've been practicing. So go through your graphical limits, make certain that you're able to read the graphs and understand all the different concepts that we talked about. Limit from the left, limit from the right. Write down all the information that you might need to study. Now, numerical limits. We've been practicing those almost every lesson. So you need to be able to read the data that I give you, but you must also be able to create your own data using the table in your calculator. So make certain that you know how to use that graphing calculator. So this is your opportunity to create a study guide. Now, you know, whenever we're working with a limit problem that's analytical, you must try substitution first. So you've tried your substitution. You always try it first. You come up with a form of 0 over 0. What should you do? How should you attack this problem? Write down some of the ideas that you know would be useful. We also talked about special trig functions that were in the form of 0 over 0. So once again, write down the information that could be useful when studying for your test. And what happens when we look at limits going to infinity? When does this happen? Write down everything you can that might be useful for studying. What is a one-sided limit? And think about limits that come in the form of a number over 0. Now, making this test review is not only useful for the test that you're going to take during your next lesson, but it's also useful for studying for the AP exam in May. So make certain that you write down everything that could be useful on this page. Then you want to think about the limit existence theorem. Yes, do you remember that one? It feels like it was such a long time ago. The definition for continuity is on every AP exam. So write down where your vertical and horizontal asymptotes come from. What is a piecewise function? What example problems did we have with piecewise functions? And of course, write down your intermediate value theorem and any information that could be useful when studying for your AP exam. Because what you're doing is creating a study sheet for your test, but also for the AP exam. So, the lesson follow-up. Once you've created your study guide, I have provided you with some review questions. And also on page 91, you see lots of different questions. Now, listen, I do not want you to do every single question that I've presented. I've given you lots of opportunities to practice. Now, you do need to practice and engage in the learning. Reading the answers does not mean you know the material, but I trust that you've been doing the homework all along and that you have been preparing and studying and understanding. I believe you are an excellent math student. So you should be able to spend less than 60 minutes to review for your test, and then you're just consider yourself ready. Best of luck. I'm expecting good things.